congratulations on I would say everything
Oh,
so far,
thank you.
everything that you've accomplished. I sat and watched the documentary last night, and it was fascinating to see your life, because for me as an outsider, you only get to see you as the sportsman. You don't get to see all the other stuff. So some of it was just incredible. Have you managed to watch it yourself? And is it weird kind of watching things back and watching your interviews and then all the things that have happened in your life up to
It
that,
is
this
always
point?
so surreal watching something back of yourself. Like, I hate watching anything of myself back. I never read anything. I'm always like, whatever, it happened, like, move on. But yeah, it is very surreal to watch it all back. And even making the documentary and seeing some of those archival pieces for the very first time was like really, yeah, I guess surreal is the word for it, because you just, when you're living it, you don't really think about what you were actually going through at the time, and then being able to relive it. And now as a 31-year-old looking back at it, when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like, and who I was then versus who I am today. And, tonight is actually going to be the first time that my friends and family see it, and I'm going to be watching it with them. And it's, it's a very vulnerable documentary, and I don't think any of them have seen that side of me. So I'm, it's very... it's very nerve-wracking when it goes out into the world, I think.
Yeah. I was watching at the beginning, obviously, you competing with the adults when you were,
Yeah.
you were 9 or 10. I just thought for myself, I was like, what was I doing when I was 9 or 10? Like, this is just so surreal. What was those, do you remember those moments? And when you were first kind of pitched the idea of, hey, you're going to go and compete with the adults in a competition, what was
I didn't
that?
really think about it. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Why not? Like, I'm just going to go and compete. Another competition, fine. It was like, there was always, I just loved competing, and I loved being in that. And there is nothing that feels like that moment when you're stood on the end of the diving board and you're about to be judged, and the pressure of it, the expectation, the slight nerves, the adrenaline of it. There's nothing that feels like that. And so I just used to love it. I just used to love going out and competing. The more I got to compete, the better it was. The training was really difficult, and like the competition was like the reward for it.
I am a big football fan, and my team has just won a trophy for the first time in decades, and we're all over the moon about it. So I just wonder for you what the sensation is when you win and you're amongst those people, because I don't know, for someone, especially at your age over the years that you've done it, winning those things. I mean, the sensation must be a strange one, because you're elated that you've won, but then I presume you're then thinking about the next thing or what you can achieve next. And is there more to achieve?
Yeah, it is funny, because that high that you get from like winning is like huge, and then you have to like be right back ready for the next thing. And that can be a real struggle for athletes, because you kind of always, you go into a competition, you have that adrenaline rush and you like want to get there, but then sometimes it works out for good, and sometimes you have a bad day, and then you never quite know what you're going to get, and you try and be as consistent as you possibly can be. But that feeling of winning, or that feeling of winning a medal, is just it's so special. And to be able to like be there with your other teammates, be there with your coach, your physio, psychologist, and then bringing it all together and being able to do that in Paris with my husband and my kids there watching, my friends and family, my mum, all of that was, it's really special, because behind every athlete is a huge support system.
When you're diving and when you're in a competition and you're obviously walking up the platforms and everything else, do you have a secret to kind of blocking out the noise? Because I can imagine the noise plus the high, which you're used to, but did you have a specific thing in your brain to go to like block everything out?
When I was younger, I kind of just used to, I did maths at school. That was like one of my things. And I always used to work out the differences between all the different athletes and what I would need to score times by the degree of difficulty in order to be able to get into certain positions. So I basically was distracting myself with counting and maths for most of my diving career. But then I became a parent, and my perspectives completely shifted. And I think once I got to realize that I was more than a diver, more than just an athlete, and didn't put all of my self-worth and self-esteem into whether I won a medal or not, that really was incredibly freeing and allowed me to just go out and compete and really genuinely enjoy it for what it was.
How have you seen the sport kind of evolve over the years that you've been part of it and then also absent? Because sport becomes such a big thing for people, and supporting a football team or supporting a diver or supporting a gymnastics team has become such a big thing. Have you seen the sport kind of progress in the ways that you hoped it would progress?
I think London 2012 was a real game changer for the world of sport, or for British sport in particular, because it gave everyone an opportunity to really get behind Team GB and really be like, I feel like in 2012, it was like everyone was so proud to be British. It was like 2012 was like an incredible year of like being excited that the Olympics were coming, and it was it was just something that it was so incredibly special. And I think the funding as well that went into those Olympics allowed for these like a real wave of great British talent. We went from being, you know, people that would maybe, I don't know where we were in the medal table, but maybe we would win like 5 to 10 gold medals at an Olympic Games. So now winning so many medals and being in the top 5 of the medal table for the last 3 or 4 Olympic Games because of the build-up and the hype around London 2012. And I think that's only going to continue from here on out. And I think that's pretty special for the world of British sport. As
a predominantly film and TV website that we are, Hey You Guys, I have to ask you about your kind of guilty pleasures and over the years, what has kind of got you, what shows or films have got you through tough times? Has there been stuff that you've always gone back to? Because I know a lot of people, they have their shows, don't they? They always go back to their shows or their films and stuff for comfort. Did you have yours kind of over the years?
Drag Race. Drag Race is my, like, every week I watch it. And I know lots of people are like, oh, there's so many seasons, how do you stay on top of it? Watch it. Every week. Every week I watch it. And then when there's like a few weeks there where there's no Drag Race franchise on, I'm like, what am I going to do now? What are we going to do? There is something about Drag Race that just takes me out of the real world and I'm able to immerse myself in something completely different. It's funny, lighthearted, and is feel good. And I think that's something that I love it. And I think it's great.
My wife has got me into maths. Have you heard of maths?
No. Oh, Married at First Sight.
Australia. I mean,
I've been told that I need to watch it, and like especially the Australian one. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like I need to see it because enough people have said now.
Yeah, I've never been into reality TV, but for some reason that show is particularly addictive, and now
really?
My sister watches it and everything else. But it's such a good thing to kind of dive into, like you say, just to like switch off and just.
Okay, I'm down for it. I'm ready to give it a go.
Something for you. In terms of the documentary, then, I mean, what was your hope at the beginning of it versus the hope that you see it now?
Well, I had no idea going into it how it was going to be and what was, you know, because when you live your own life, you don't really think about it as anything other than just your life, and it's not anything interesting, not anything different, and. You know, it was actually a year before the Paris Olympics when I was just thinking about getting back into the pool that the Western Edge, the production company, came to me and was like, do you want to, like, we think this documentary could be great. And I was, well, actually, I'm thinking about going back for another year to go back into the pool and see if I can qualify for another Olympics. And I think the big, like, you know, deciding factor of it for me was like, I feel incredibly grateful and lucky to have all of that archival footage and things to be able to be put together into one piece for my kids to be able to see in the future. And I think that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to do this, so that they could, in the future, see what their papa got up to.
Just before I go, I want to give you a recommendation to
yes.
I don't know if you've seen it. I am a huge fan. One of my hero is Steve Martin.
Okay.
Back in the 70s, he used to do a TV show, and one of the segments was a professional diving segment.
Really?
So if you've not seen it,
okay, I
need you to go and watch it because it is so funny. And
okay.
I always wonder whether someone professional, and he's done lots of other things that other people have watched, whether I was like, I wonder if Tom's seen it, and if not, I have to tell him because it's so funny.
I feel like I need to. I know Mr. Bean did a diving scene, and I know Little Britain's done a diving scene.
John Smith's advert.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get a chance, go on YouTube and watch it. It's quite a long clip.
Okay.
Him and Carl Reiner.
Okay, I'm ready.
But if you haven't seen it, that's my recommendation.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of that.
It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Fantastic success. You are
thank you.
Ambassador and a shining light, shall we say. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys.